What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another video today, and in this video we are doing the 83rd installment of Retro Reviews. Today we're going to be reviewing my Gemini Jets 1:400 scale Silver Airways ATR-42-600. Now I'm sure I can already hear some of you asking, why the heck is this a retro review? Because this is a very new subject. Well, unfortunately, with the demise of Silver Airways earlier this summer, this aircraft technically no longer exists, so I feel like if it technically doesn't really exist, or if it is like a retro aircraft type, that's really my main criteria for it to be featured on a retro review episode. So this is an aircraft that not only I remember trying to find for such a long time, but in some capacity also has quite a lot of sentimental value to me. I picked this up at the 2024 Airliners International Convention in Kansas City off of Squatchy's table for $50. Still got the old price tag on it. And again, Squatchy's is a really excellent retailer. At this past show in Atlanta, they had a lot of really good stuff on offer. If I remember right, I bought a TriStar, a DC-10, and a Republic DC-9 off of them. So all those will be, excuse me, featured in future retro review episodes. But as always, we'll go ahead and get started with the box. We've got the 20th anniversary Gemini Jets logo. This was released in February of 2019, so technically not really a 20th anniversary model anymore, but it was probably made in 2018 and then just released then in 2019. Still got the old made for collectors by collectors font, image of the aircraft, aircraft logo, and the Silver Airways logo down there. Plastic cradle for the model, along with the pink look inside flap, and then there's the aircraft information to pause. At the bottom of the box, your standard advertising. Still got the old font on it. I think they introduced the current style in probably the, I want to say like March or April releases. But on this side, you've got the Gemini Jets logo. Image of the plane, aircraft type. Item number is GJSIL 1793. There's the top of the box with the adult collectible model warning, and on the right side with that aforementioned price tag, and in the back, which does have a 2018 copyright on it, but this is a 2019 release. So yeah, one of the newer Gemini Jets releases that I featured. I've featured plenty of like brand new releases in the past, but I don't think any from 2019 just yet. So here it is, Silver ATR-42-600. Glad that I got to use this in at least a couple of random model airport updates before Silver ceased operations, which is really unfortunate because they are such a fantastic little airline out of Florida. Had plenty of operations out in the Florida region, out in the Caribbean, and then also across to other parts of the Southeast U.S. And I think they may have wanted to go further too, but unfortunately that can't really happen anymore. But there we go. Nice little model here from Gemini Jets. Very, very nice. And my first ATR-42, and so far my only one. Hopefully that'll change soon. Start off at the front, we've got the nose cone. There's the cockpit windows along with some panel details along with an aircraft name. This name is specifically Bella or Mile Marker 0, so I believe this was their first ATR in their fleet. We've got the nice ring logo, the three rings logo. There's a luggage door right there, along with the little window on that side. We got all the passenger windows right underneath the engines, and these engines specifically, they are PWC PW127M engines. So I believe that should be Pratt & Whitney there with that PW in there, like Pratt & Whitney Company or something. And more specifically, manufactured by the Canadian division of Pratt & Whitney. Very, very fascinating there with the Canadian division that they have, and then they were the ones that made the engines. But there's another look at the passenger windows along with that landing gear. They do roll, kind of, but not very well because the wheels are so tiny, and then the nose gear, don't even ask me about that because that's not going to roll at all. But it is there. It's very hard to see just because they made it so tiny, though it is more realistic that way. There's the silver titles back there, and then you have the registration on the bottom of the tail, November 400 Sierra Victor, along with the pink flamingo, and the aircraft name is printed up there as well. So that up there says Bella, and then up on the front here it should say Mile Marker 0. If I could get closer, then you could see it a little better, but again, with the camera resolution as it is, you can probably see it just fine. On the right side of the aircraft, not much else to report on here. We do have a little exit door right there, and then the rear boarding door on that side. And then the registration, and of course, the very lovely silver tail. And it's really sad that this airline went under, but they had been under quite a bit of financial stress throughout the time since I got this model, and then even when we flew them, which I'll talk more about in a minute. But there's the underneath the aircraft. Nice little pink flamingo right there, which I never noticed. And you've got the Three Rings logo that wraps around underneath. And then the Gemini Jets logo. No stand hole on this model because it's so tiny, but probably also because there's not really much space for it. And then the top of the aircraft, not much to report on there. But there's the props, which do spin, and they are nice and rotated. They're kind of angled in that way, which I believe is a... that's on a lot of the newer ATR aircraft. They have newer propellers, which I believe helps with like efficiency and just the general operations of it. But yeah, very, very nice little model from Gemini Jets. Would definitely recommend it, especially as for someone like myself who really wanted a silver model for a long time, and this being one of the only offerings besides the Saab 340, which Silver had gotten rid of by this point. So just the ATRs is all they had by the time they shut down earlier this summer, which, again, it's very unfortunate, but only seemed inevitable because, you know, just the signs that at least I was seeing, it didn't seem like they had much time left. But I'm really glad that I was able to get a flight in with them as I flew on their larger ATR-72 from Fort Lauderdale to Orlando, a route that they ended up cutting a few months later. So not only a route that you can't fly on Silver anymore, but also on an airline you can't fly anymore, which is, you know, it's a new first for me. First time that I can say that I have flown an airline that no longer operates, a defunct airline, if you will. But really fortunate to have done that with also CM Aviation and Syracuse Aviation on that Florida excursion trip we did last year. And we did that just so that we could have something fun to add on our trip. We're really more the type to find unique travel itineraries and, you know, see what creative ways we can go from A to B or just get around somewhere. And Silver fit the bill perfectly with that, since we could fly on a little ATR, since only Connor had done it once before when he went to meet up with another friend earlier in 2024, as he took a couple Silver flights on that trip. So for, you know, Anderson and I to join him on that and get our first ATR flight and our first Silver flight in together was certainly memorable. But now that they're gone, it is a memory that we cherish even more. We can officially say that we've flown on one of these and have flown on a defunct airline. But I certainly hope that Gemini Jets will still make an ATR-72, especially the one that we flew, which was, sorry about that. If I remember right, I think it was November 703 Sierra Victor. That's the one that we flew on, which is in this same livery. So really the concept isn't that much different. It's just you have the stretched fuselage, and then the livery and all that is basically not really changed all that much. But it is certainly, again, a very awesome memory that we have from this trip. But yeah, 703 Sierra Victor, that's the one that we flew. So hopefully Gemini Jets does release that at some point as sort of a tribute to this now defunct airline. So now let's take a look at the real-life aircraft's history, since this aircraft is still flying. It first flew on April 20th of 2018 and was delivered to Silver that same month with the aircraft name Bella, or mile marker 0. It was put into storage in 2021, so this aircraft did not fly up until Silver's demise. It went to Easy Fly Columbia in January 2022, re-registered to Hotel Kilo-5391. And then she went to Click, spelled C-L-I-C, in August of 2023, and that is where this aircraft currently remains, as she is still active with Click. And I'll go ahead and just do a quick check to see if it's flying right now, which it certainly is. It is flying between Medellin and Quibdó, I believe is how you say that. So just checking that on the map, just flying within Colombia, essentially, yeah. So it's just flying in that, kind of in that northwest region, right over the certain mountain range, and it looks like it's just about to land at its destination. That'll do it for this episode of Retro Reviews. Thanks for watching, and I will catch you in the next video.